In the heart of a Montana winter, fierce winds tore through the snow-laden pines as Michael Thompson gripped his 12-year-old daughter's hand. They hurried along a path, racing the brewing blizzard to reach their cabin. Their 3 German shepherds bounded ahead, carving a trail through the deepening snow. Suddenly, the lead dog froze, ears twitching, nose aimed at a toppled pine. Without a sound, it bolted toward the tree. The other dogs closed behind. "Luna, Michael's daughter," shouted, pointing to where the dogs clustered. Michael's pulse quickened as he neared. There, nestled in the snow, lay a tiny bobcat kitten, barely alive, its fur matted with blood. Its faint breaths clouded the frigid air, and its pale blue eyes flickered with pain. Kneeling, Michael slipped off his gloves and warmed the creature with his hands. Nearby, a blood trail snaked into the dense woods, likely where poachers had taken its mother. A glint of metal caught his eye, an illegal trap half buried in the snow. As a biologist, Michael knew meddling with wildlife could backfire, but with the storm closing in and temperatures plunging, the kitten faced certain death. Remarkably, the shepherds showed no hostility. The lead dog, Titan, gently nuzzled the kitten's head, a rare gesture for a natural adversary. Back home, Rebecca, Michael's wife and a veterinarian, frowned at the sight of the wild animal but swiftly shifted to work mode. The kitten was hypothermic and starved. She stabilized it, tucking it into a blanket-lined crate in the kitchen, doubting it would last the night. Yet, by morning, the family found a miracle. The kitten was alive, surrounded by the 3 dogs who had formed a protective ring around it. Titan lay closest, his warmth sustaining the tiny creature. Luna named it Scout, for the survival skills it would need. The blizzard grew into one of Montana's worst, burying roads and cutting off contact with the Wildlife Conservation Department. Scout not only clung to life, but flourished. Then, something extraordinary began. Within 2 weeks, Scout moved less like a feline and more like the dogs, mimicking their bold, steady strides. When Titan sat, scanning the room, Scout perched beside him, echoing his stance. Michael, fascinated, started recording these behaviors. Scout answered to its name a rarity for wild cats chased toys with the youngest dog and even tried to bark, producing an odd mix of a growl and a hiss. For months later, Scout was a robust young bobcat, blending its natural agility, keen senses, and swift reflexes with the loyalty and habits of the shepherds. It woke with the dogs, ate alongside them, and learned to pace the farm's edges as Titan did. At night, it curled up among the trio, indistinguishable from the pack. Luna's videos of Scout, the bobcat who acted like a dog, went viral online, drawing curious visitors to the farm.
When roads cleared, Ranger Martinez arrived, responding to reports of an illegally kept bobcat. He was stunned to see Scout respond to its name and behave like a canine. Still, Montana law forbade keeping wildlife without a permit. Michael applied for a special license, but as Scout grew, its spotted coat and sturdy frame made its wild nature clearer, even as its dog-like traits persisted. 2 months later, the permit was denied. The Wildlife Conservation Department ordered Scout's surrender for release into the wild. Luna's tearful video plea exploded online, amassing millions of views and national attention. Facing public outcry, the department sent experts to assess Scout. The team, including a zoologist and the department director, spent a day observing Scout's seamless integration with the dogs and humans. They marveled at its adaptation but upheld the law. Scout was a wild animal, not a pet. The zoologist warned that Scout's domestication made wild survival unlikely. Rather than condemn it to a facility, they proposed a compromise: release Scout 100 miles away with a GPS collar. If it thrived, it would stay free. If not, alternatives would be considered. The day of release came too soon. Luna wept, Rebecca packed food for 2 weeks, and Michael fitted the collar, his hands shaking. The dog's reaction was gut-wrenching. Titan stood like a sentinel, blocking the ranger's vehicle until Michael commanded him to move. At the release site, a verdant valley with a bubbling stream, Scout stepped from the crate, sniffing the air. It glanced at the forest, then back at Michael and Luna. For a moment, it lingered. A rustle in the underbrush snapped its focus, and with a predator's grace, Scout vanished into the trees. Luna broke down, and the GPS tracker showed Scout moving deeper into the wild. "It's where it belongs," Michael said, his voice hollow. Back home, the dogs refused to enter the cabin, stationing themselves on the porch, eyes locked on the hills. A week later, Luna obsessively checked the GPS. Scout seemed to adapt, navigating shelters and water, but the dogs sank into despair, barely eating, their gazes fixed on the horizon. On the 10th night, the GPS showed Scout halted on a ridge for nearly a day. Michael feared injury. Then, at dusk, Scout began moving toward the farm. Day by day, Scout's path became deliberate, not aimless wandering but a determined journey home. It crossed 30 miles in 5 days, faster than typical bobcats in unfamiliar terrain. On day 6, it faced a swollen river but, unlike most bobcats, swam across a narrow point, emboldened by the dog's fearlessness. On day 7, it waited hours by a highway, then dashed across in a lull. Each hurdle rivers, roads, rival bobcat territories Scout surmounted with uncanny resolve.
On the 12th night, the GPS failed. Its last ping was 40 miles from the farm, in rocky, wooded terrain. Michael and Luna searched the area, finding only a torn collar strap snagged on a branch. 3 agonizing days followed, hope fading. Luna withdrew. Rebecca called every ranger and vet in a 100-mile radius, and Michael pored over maps, estimating Scout's arrival in 2 to 3 days if it survived. On the 3rd night, as the family sat in silence, the dogs erupted, Titan charging the door, barking wildly. Michael flung it open. In the moonlight stood Scout, thinner, collarless, but alive, staring at the house. The dogs rushed out, and Scout sprinted to them, not with a bobcat's caution but a dog's joyous abandon. The 4 tumbled together, a whirlwind of fur and sound. Luna knelt, sobbing, as Michael and Rebecca joined, awestruck. Rebecca's exam revealed Scout had lost weight and bore a minor leg wound, likely from the collar snag, but was otherwise healthy. Michael estimated Scout's 100-mile trek took 16 days, crossing rivers, a highway, settlements, and rival territories, an unheard-of feat for a young bobcat. Experts later cited geomagnetic instincts or exceptional memory, but the Thompsons knew it was love. Ranger Martinez, stunned, warned that the department would want Scout removed again. But seeing its bond with the dogs, he proposed an alternative. Weeks later, the department director returned, observing Scout's seamless life with the dogs. She called it unprecedented, neither fully wild nor domestic. A month later, a groundbreaking permit was granted, allowing Scout to stay under study, with an outdoor enclosure and periodic inspections. A year on, the farm drew researchers and students to see Scout and its dog siblings. Michael published a paper. Luna vowed to become a zoologist, and Scout, now a striking adult bobcat, retained its dual nature. Perched on a rock, mirroring Titan's vigilant pose, Scout was home not just in place, but in love, proving family transcends species and instinct.